Okay, berkenaan dengan your group project assignment semua dah submit kan? Sebab saya belum semak lagi detail siapa yang dah submit dan siapa yang belum submit. So far saya harap semua orang dah submit lah. Because your due date is on 24th. Suara saya clear ke ataupun tak clear?
Clear.
Okay, so saya dah masukkan slide dalam e-learning. Sekejap, kenapa saya dengar suara saya double lah? Okay, alright. So let me continue our next topic for this week is ecotourism and ecotourism. Okay, for your information, I think we have two more topics for so today topic 9 and next week is the last topic syllabus for this semester, and perhaps early of next year on this January we will start our discussion more on brainstorming and discussion before you sit for your final assessment. Alright. Saya, Nisha, can you hear me? Because saya rasa Google Meet kelas you sekarang ni tengah hang dekat laptop saya. Are you clear? You boleh dengar saya? Sekejap, something wrong happen in my laptop ni dekat Google Meet kelas A. Sebab yang saya connect satu lagi adalah handphone saya, but ya, Nisha?
You on.
Saya tak dengar lah, Nisha.
Doktor, tapi boleh dengar suara doktor je.
Sebab saya rasa Google Meet ni tengah hang. Yang boleh access ni adalah dekat phone saya, dekat laptop saya ni saya tengah hang. Sekejap
Okey, doktor.
Dua-dua kelas saya lost connection ni, saya tak sure kenapa, what is the problem. Sekejap dekat laptop saya not respond. Okay guys, sorry tadi saya lost connection. I'm not sure what happened. So now I hope that both classes you can hear me and you can see my camera.
Okay.
Alright,
Yes.
like we start our class before uh, apa internet cover problem. Alright, so everybody, I hope that there is no more issue ataupun there is no more problems related to your group project and as well as for your group assignment, because you have done a good job. Basically, for you have submitted your individual assignments, group project, and group reports, right? So basically, you have done that one is 60% out of total of your assessment for HTB30103, right? And basically, you are now waiting for final assessment, which will be held, I think, middle of January. I will let you know the date for your final assessment exam. All right. I think the date is between 15 between 15 to 20 uh, 4th of January, right? So I will choose one date, but you have to make sure that you are ready for 3 hours for final exam, right? Without fail for 3 hours. Is fixed for 3 hours punya exam online, open book test, but you have to submit within 3 hours punya session, right? So, a good news for you guys. For this week topic, ecotourism and ecotourists, we don't have tutorial exercise and we don't have a tutorial class for this week, right? But basically, this week will cover in your final assessment, right? There are a few other topics that also will cover in your final assessment. I will let you know a week before the final assessment, right? So basically, don't ask me about your tutorial exercise and tutorial class for this week. I think we have done tutorial class for this semester, and for this week and next week topic, it will cover in your final assessment, right? So for today's topic, we are going to discuss what is ecotourism and ecotourist, right? So basically, there are three main topic or three main issue that we will discuss further for this week topic. The first one is we are going to discuss on what is basically ecotourism, and then what is ecotourist and what is eco lunch. And for your information, ladies and gentlemen, basically for degree in entrepreneurship tourism, you are basically will cover for one courses which ecotourism that khusus, right, courses. But however, for this cohort, starting from your cohort 2018, the cost of tour ecotourism has been removed from your compulsory courses, right? So therefore, this topic only will cover in recreation punya topic saja, alright? So only one topic that we will discuss on the ecotourism, just a very brief discussion related to ecotourism. Okay. So what we are going to discuss, and I hope that you can further what we call it, you can enhance your understandings on the ecotourism, the definitions, the benefits, the potential or the importance of ecotourism, as well as the ecotourists, international and domestic tourists, and the eco-launch aspect, which will cover for the accommodation. So basically, ecotourism has been defined as a responsible travel to natural resources that conserve the environment, sustain the well-being of the local peoples, and involve interpretation and education, right? So this is what we call it ecotourism. It's a responsible travel to natural resources, okay, which you are conserve the environment, you sustain the well-being of the local people, and you involve in the interpretation and education. Okay, so basically this is the definitions of the ecotourism. Another definitions of ecotourism, they also discuss ecotourism is also called as a sustainable. But however, ecotourism and sustainable tourism basically they have two different scopes or two different perspectives, right? Now we only, I think last couple of weeks we already discussed on what is actually the sustainable tourism, right? You can see what are the differences between sustainable tourism and ecotourism. This is all about the terms which you have to get yourself understand clearly. Okay, what is sustainable tourism? What is ecotourism? But basically, previously, the authors also call ecotourism as a sustainable tourism, which it can be defined by a variety of travel practice. A variety of travel practice, but it's all come down to a general set of idea which you are dealing with your attitude, how you travel, how you're responsible you are in doing traveling activities. Okay, so this is what we call it ecotourism, and it must be related to natural resources ataupun forestry. Okay, so this is something the elements of ecotourism. Additionally, ecotourism is a part of environmental conservation. Okay, bagaimana you memelihara ecotourism, and you understand what the needs of the people who are local to the area, so that you can help to improve the quality of life. And it also involves learning more about the history or other cities and preserving historical landmarks. Okay, kita akan further discuss what is ecotourism. So basically dalam e-learning just now saya juga ada upload a link video discuss on what is basically the definitions of ecotourism, right? Kalau you tak get this information through slide, you can watch that video and you can have a further information, the definitions of ecotourism, right? So basically, most experts agree that the main components of ecotourism ada empat, right? Yang pertama, ecotourism features interpretation and education. Dia mesti ada dua elemen. How you interpret the natural resources and how you educate people. Number two, ecotourism is ecologically sustainable. How you sustain kelestarian ekological. Okay, ekologi yang ada. And number three, ecotourism incorporate culture consideration. Maksudnya not just natural resources, but you also involve with the culture, budaya sesuatu tempat. And number four, there is net return benefits to the local community. Ini satu benda komponen penting dalam ecotourism, which dia akan bagi kelebihan ataupun kepentingan kepada local community di tempat tu. So basically, in overall, what we can say about ecotourism, it must be related with natural resources, as well as you must have the benefits or the importance to the local community. Alright, not just for the sake of sustainability of the natural resources, but you must also involve giving the benefits to the local community. So this is the main components in ecotourism. Okay, so in overall dari sudut di Australian punya definitions ataupun the Commonwealth of the Department of Tourism, Dia define ecotourism ni sebagai nature based tourism. Okay, so nature based tourism which dia involve interpretation and education. Benda yang quite common, yang always people discuss about ecotourism. Okay, as compared to sustainable tourism, which we already discussed last couple of weeks, I think when we talk about sustainable tourism, they have three elements that you have to cover when we talk about sustainable tourism, which yang pertama adalah ekonomi, yang kedua social, and yang ketiga adalah environmental. So combination of these three elements dia akan jadi sustainable tourism. Okay, kelestarian pelancongan. Itu kita panggil sustainable. Tapi when we talk about ecotourism, dia mesti ada elements of interpretation as well as education, 2E. Right? So these two elements yang membezakan what is sustainable tourism and what is ecotourism. Okay, so bila you keluar besok, bila you dah ada di industri, so basically this is some things that industry will look into, or how you define and how you interpret basically the definitions of ecotourism as well as adventure tourism. Ini satu benda lagi yang you have to understand clearly when we talk ecotourism. Okay, is also different with adventure tourism. Okay, so basically kalau you have to go back to the definitions of adventure tourism as well as ecotourism. There are two different things as well. Alright, walaupun both of them, ecotourism or adventure tourism, they must involve the natural resources ataupun forestry. Right? So apa 8 principles when we talk about ecotourism? Okay, yang pertama, prinsipal yang pertama, dia focus on personally experiencing natural areas in a way that lead to greater understanding and appreciation. So prinsipal dia yang pertama when we talk about ecotourism ni, dia adalah pengalaman peribadi. Okay, pengalaman peribadi kepada natural areas ni. Okay, kawasan alam semula jadi yang mana dia akan meningkatkan tahap penghargaan dan pemahaman kita personally, individual ni terhadap kepentingan ataupun kita panggil kepentingan, kelebihan ataupun keperluan menjaga natural resources for ecotourism. Okay, so dia contohnya dia panggil guided walk through surrounding natural areas with informative and understanding. Yang ni we can see focus on, for example, kita panggil national parks, okay, taman negara for example. Kalau you go to any forestry natural areas, dia akan buat tagging, right? What are the name for each trees ataupun areas ke, supaya this is how we educate, we give the knowledge, we give we enhance the level of appreciation for tourists ataupun visitors ke tempat tersebut, right? Prinsipal dia yang kedua adalah how you integrate the opportunities to understand natural resources into each experience. Okay, maksudnya bagaimana you combine ataupun you integrate between peluang tu untuk you memahami kawasan-kawasan alam semula jadi itu untuk menambahkan atau meningkatkan kepuasan dan pengalaman tu. Right, that's why kita panggil interpretive signage along walking trail. So bila you buat jungle trekking, bila you buat hiking dan sebagainya, we have to consider what are the element that we can have or we can educate people when they do any adventure ataupun recreation ecotourism activities. Principle number 3 adalah they represents the best practice for ecological sustainable tourism. Sebab tu kalau you tengok di kawasan-kawasan forestry, dia akan bina jejantas macam ni. Okay, because this jejantas akan membantu untuk mengurangkan risiko kepada tanah-tanah dan tumbuhan yang ada di atas apabila dipijak oleh visitors ataupun turis, right? Number 4, principle untuk ecotourism is a positively contribute to the ongoing conservation of natural resources. Maksudnya dia mesti menyumbang kepada something yang positif kepada pemeliharaan natural resources itu sendiri. Okay, maksudnya membantu kepada pembentukan atau pertumbuhan flora dan fauna di kawasan ekotourism. Number 5 is provide constructive ongoing contribution to local community. Maksudnya bila ada ecotourism activities, for example in natural forest for example national forest, taman negara, any hutan lipo dan sebagainya, dia akan contribute to the economic of local community. So dekat situ lah local community boleh menjual, okay, boleh berniaga, boleh menjalankan perniagaan dan sebagainya melalui aktiviti ecotourism. Number 6 is sensitive to interpret and involve different culture, particularly indigenous culture. Yang ini melibatkan orang asli, for example. Alright, maksudnya kita akan jadikan orang asli ni sebagai salah satu produk which we can attract tourists, visitors to come to any natural areas ni untuk dia belajar, educate, and they will get the experience directly from ataupun they can learn a different culture, okay, heritage, product and etc. Okay, ini salah satu lagi prinsipal dalam ecotourism which you are introducing something new, not just for the local community punya benefits but as well as for the indigenous people, right? Number 7 is a consistently meets the client's expectation. Okay, informal feedback on client satisfaction is sought to survey and educate. Maksudnya even though you are doing an ecotourism activities in a natural forestry natural area, but you have to be consistently get the clients punya expectation and feedback, right, to enhance you punya service and service quality and the product that you offer to your customer. And number 8, the principle for the ecotourism is about the marketing. Okay, anything that you are promoting your product or you are sharing your information to your customer, it must be accurate and lead to realistic expectation. Maksudnya dia tak nak when you share any information through brochure, website, blog and etc. You are doing something from the real experience. Okay, orang kata indah kabar dari rupa. When you share, you try to attract, you give the best pictures, facilities and everything. But however, when people go and get the real experience, it doesn't meet and it doesn't leads to the realistic punya expectation, right? So this is 8 principle of the ecotourism which you have to clearly understand how to integrate the issue ataupun how to integrate the elements of sustainable tourism in ecotourism activities. Okay, so setakat itu, is there any questions ataupun something that is it clear? Semua orang boleh dengar dengan jelas? Is it okay?
Okay, Doctor.
Yeah. Alright, ini ada beberapa key principle of ecotourism. Okay, yang daripada 8 tadi tu pun saya cuba untuk bagi lebih detail. And in fact dalam link YouTube yang saya highlight kat sini ni, I'm not sure whether tapi link ni pun saya dah masukkan dia punya ni dalam e-learning, nanti you can watch that video lah. Alright, there is something interesting about ecotourism that you can study from that video. Okay, so basically antara 8 principle of ecotourism tadi tu, saya get the key principle there, alright? So can give you a better understandings on the principle of ecotourism. Macam tadi lah, dia minimize the negative impact, educate the travelers on the importance of conservation. Okay, you stress the importance of responsible business which work cooperatively with local authorities and people meet the local needs and deliver conservation benefits. Okay, so all of these principle of ecotourism ini is something that you can enhance ataupun you can understands how to make sure that everything that we are doing related to natural resources, kita mesti ada what we call it apa dipanggil sempadan ataupun the uh, batas between human and natural resources. Okay, ini something yang we as a tourism industry ataupun tourism players ataupun tourism stakeholders, we have to understand which part ataupun which area that we need to put ourselves our knowledge and our experience in order to educate people. Kalau kita sendiri tidak meletakkan ourselves as a part of tourism punya responsible kita, so how we expect that people can conserve, people can meet all the expectation of the local punya tourism punya local authorities punya expectation, right? So this is something that we have to understand the principle of ecotourism. Another part that I think most important about ecotourism, this one, you have to emphasize the use of environmental and social baseline study as well as long-term monitoring program. Sebab tu kalau you perasan last week, we also discuss on the recreation framework. Okay, so when we talk about sustainable tourism, carrying capacity, recreation framework, this is all something that interrelated. Okay, sebab tu bila you buat aktiviti rekreasi, we are not just meet our own satisfaction level ataupun our hobby, our interest, but we are also educate people to conserve and preserve our nature. Okay, sebab tu dalam bidang bila kita cakap pasal rekreasi ni, dia nampak simple, but basically even though it is simple word that we can say rekreasi, tapi in this context of recreation ni sebenarnya we are dealing with adventure activity, we are dealing with ecotourism, we are dealing with sustainable tourism. So there are a lot of issue ataupun a lot of elements that we have to cover in when we talk about recreation. Okay, so nanti you can watch that video. Saya dah masukkan dalam e-learning and I hope that it will give you a better understanding on the concept of ecotourism. Okay, so apa lagi antara benefits bila kita involve in ecotourism? So basically salah benda yang main important on economic development and diversification ni adalah bila you create a new product ataupun a new activity dalam ecotourism. For example lah, kita kata national parks, ecotourism, national park di Taman Negara Jerantuk for example. When we create ataupun when we develop that particular places, we are actually dealing ataupun introducing economic development and diversification for local community. Alright, so maksudnya kita membuka peluang penginapan disediakan oleh local community, makan minum, aktiviti, guiding dan sebagainya is all provided by local communities, right? Number 2 is a tendency for greater expenditure and length of stay by ecotourists. Okay, because normally for your information, kalau tourists they go for holiday, they only spend 2 nights, 1 night, or even I think the longest is only 3 nights. Okay, kalau dia pergi for holiday. But basically for ecotourists ataupun those who are involved with ecotourism activities, they will stay longer than that. Okay, even they can stay up to 1 month, 2 months in order to study, to get all the informations, to get to know with the natural resources. Sebab tu dipanggil benefits of ecotourism ni, dia buka peluang lebih besar untuk turis ni stay yang lebih lama as compared to the other tourists. Okay, number 3, generate income for conservation and management of natural park. Ini salah satu lagi benefits of ecotourism. Kalau you tengok, if you can see from the real experience, dengan wujudnya national park, dengan wujudnya hutan Nicoll Sungai Bay, kenapa all the national stakeholders ataupun local stakeholders ni, contohnya macam pejabat perhutanan, contohnya macam kerajaan negeri, even states governments, they try to introduce as many as tourism product ataupun tourism activity ke, it's just for the sake of to conserve and to get all the natural resources ni under one element which we call it conservation and preservation. Sebab melalui activity tourism ini saja which we can conserve and preserve, in fact we can enhance and we can it will contribute to the development of the local communities, right? Number 4, the benefits of ecotourism is to create the quality employment opportunities. Alright, macam tadilah saya cakap when we talk about national park, for example, they are creating the local tour guide, for example, so the employment, peluang pekerjaan kepada penduduk kampung. In fact, you can utilize the whole local knowledge at that particular area. Okay, so there is something that we have to get to know each of the elements of ecotourism, right? So another part that we are going to discuss also is about the importance of ecotourism. Okay, kenapa pentingnya ecotourism? Kalau tadi we discuss on the benefits, kelebihan kita wujudnya ecotourism ni. Right, yang pertama, ecotourism ni is valuable for people and the planet. Okay, so maksudnya kita kena increase our ataupun the level of our awareness towards ecotourism ni, because ecotourism ni something yang bermakna, bernilai, not just for us as a local, as a people, but also for planet. I mean, in terms of natural resources. Okay. Kalau dia cakap di sini, local community, especially those that do not thrive by industrial means, could benefit greater from the tourists who respect their land, providing additional funding. Maksudnya dengan adanya ecotourism, orang akan conserve and preserve all the natural the product and services yang kita offer. Number 2, ecotourism or sustainable tourism is a learning experience for everyone involved. Okay, macam saya kata tadi, when we talk about sustainable, dia relate dengan ecotourism, which dia bagi kita or dia provide a learning experience untuk semua orang. Okay, about the nature, we admire the growth, or we inspire us to protect it. Dengan adanya aktiviti ni, dia not just create our interest towards natural resources, but it also inspire us to protect our local punya natural resources. Okay, tour guide and host are educate on a deeper level in order to share knowledge with visitors, while tourists come to appreciate the beauty of new surrounding. Right? So maksudnya when we talk about natural ecotourism ataupun sustainable tourism ni, kita ni dealing with travel sustainability. Maksudnya we have to be and educate travelers. All right. We are not just, as I mentioned just now, we are not just dealing with people, but we are now dealing with natural resources where the word of conservation and preservation is must be in our hands. Okay, because this is where we have to tell people how to uh, how to get our natural resources. We cannot disturb them, we cannot disturb the way of their life, or we have to respect the value of all the natural resources in our country. Okay, number three, ecotourism promote economic stability. Okay, macam kita cakap lah, bila ada ecotourism, kita akan create lebih banyak lagi peluang ekonomi kepada local community by doing business, job creation, and at the end of the day, we can boost the local community punya economic, right? Number four, ecotourism become more sensitive. Okay, because when we talk about ecotourism, dengan adanya ecotourism itulah kita akan consider ataupun we can take seriously the well-being of the local community and our planet. Right, so kita akan conserve, kita akan preserve kita punya natural resources, hutan lipo, air terjun dan sebagainya, in order to make sure that we have to make sure that the sustainability of the natural resources to promote eco-friendly business and keep them in the operation. So ini yang menyebabkan pentingnya for us to make sure that all the ecotourism activity ni always in our hands, right? Number five, ecotourism reduce our carbon footprint. Okay, reduce our carbon footprint when we talk about the effect from the people punya attitude ataupun tourist punya behavior. Okay, so bila kita jadi responsible travelers, we are actually try to avoid from doing something that will give the effect ataupun the negative impact to our natural resources. Sebab itulah bila kita banyak sangat aktiviti which involve ataupun relate with the natural resources, kita kena be responsible visitors to make sure that apa yang kita buat, apa yang kita experience tu and apa yang we get the satisfaction tu doesn't disturb our natural resources, right? Number six is animals suffer when we don't travel sustainably. Okay, so meaning to say, the importance of ecotourism is to make sure that bila kita dealing with natural resources, habitats, animals and etc., we are basically try to make them comfortable to interact with people, because animals are unfairly caged for or forced to participate in the performance that cause them stress or discomfort. So therefore, becoming a responsible travelers akan membantu kita untuk lebih menjaga keharmonian. We have to respect not just for the natural resources but as well as for the animals through ecotourism activities. Number seven, planning to travel sustainably is easier than ever before. Right, maksudnya kalau dulu we are just dealing with tourism activity, kita travel without thinking on how to make sure the sustainable of our environment, our product. But now when we have all this activity, ecotourism, adventure tourism, we are now try to educate people, okay, to contribute to the sustainability of all the product ataupun services that we offer to our customer. And the word now is becoming popular adalah eco-friendly, right? Not just eco product tu, eco-friendly product ataupun kedai apa eco dan sebagainya, but when we talk about ecotourism tu, basically we are dealing with tourism activity plus with how we use that eco-friendly word in ecotourism activities. Okay, we break for 5 minutes for your attendance class. Ada masalah nak scan code? Ada beberapa orang yang last week yang I call up for the surat tunjuk sebab not having the attendance class tu. I'm not sure lah. Some of you yang saya request for the evidence tu, I can accept lah. But I'm not sure lah whether ada yang sebahagian itu, I'm not sure whether I can accept or not your evidence tu, because I'm not sure whether this is all about the attitude ataupun yalah your responsibility lah. We are not just talking about responsible travel, but the responsible for you to attend the class as well. I know that some of you maybe you are not really focused pun in the class, but your reason is even though you are not 100% put your mind your physically in this class, but you mentioned that you will watch this video after the class, okay? But yeah, I don't know how to say, but this is the new norm that we have to face. Kalau you tak suka online class pun, but we have no choice. Okay, sama ada kita suka ataupun tak, this is that a new norm that we have to face before we start a new classes lah, face-to-face class. I hope that next semester tu, but I'm not sure whether dia akan continue as a online class ataupun face-to-face. Okay, but whatever it is, attending class ni dia doesn't mean that kalau you 100% fokus dalam kelas pun doesn't mean you can get A pun dalam kelas for this course. But basically apa yang penting pada saya adalah you faham ataupun you get all the necessary things for this class. Okay, that's why bila kita cakap pasal recreation, you know how to differentiate between what is recreation, what is leisure, what is adventure tourism, adventure recreation. That I think the contents of this course is much more important rather than attendance basically. But attendance ni orang kata is your responsible lah untuk you attend the class, right? That's why saya tengoklah macam mana saya discuss, saya kena deal dengan our faculty dulu. Maybe ada setengah lecturer yang we are called up for the checking students punya attendance dan sebagainya, right? So again saya harap not just for this class lah, tapi untuk another class pun you have to take fully responsibility untuk make sure that you tak ada masalah attendance dengan kelas-kelas yang lain, right? Because saya takut bila you kena bar daripada final exam, dia akan jadi satu masalah besar lah untuk diri you apabila you nak grad besok, right? So setakat ni ada siapa-siapa yang masih ada masalah scan QR code attendance? Semua okey?
Okey, doktor.
Okey, Doktor.
Doktor, saya tak sempat
Okey, doktor.
scan sebab problem ni. Saya nak try buka lagi sekali.
Alright, sebab saya tak tahulah, mungkin saya anggap you only as a friend, so saya tak nak punish you, ataupun saya tak nak judge negatively. Tapi yalah, macam saya selalu cakap dengan you, kalau masa awal-awal kelas tu ramai yang ada masalah nak scan, ada ni apa semua, tapi but maybe you improve lah in term of your internet punya connection dan sebagainya. Okay, that's why saya hanya, what I can say is about responsibility. Okay, tanggungjawab you lah untuk attend the class, right? Lepas you scan tu, kalau you rasa you have to left ke ataupun you memang tak boleh nak stay lama ke whatsoever, it's up to you. Itu orang panggil integrity you sendirilah, right? Because saya pun, I was a student before, sometimes susah nak cakap, nak control benda-benda macam ni kan. So again, it's your responsibility. Alright, we continue another subtopic for this topic is ecotourism. Just now we discussed about the ecotourism. In general, what is ecotourism? Is all about the how we interpret the natural resources and how we educate the people, right, through ecotourism activities. Now we are dealing with how to become an eco-responsible travelers. Okay, so how to be a good eco tour, how to be a good eco tourist. Okay, so this is the characteristic of a good eco tourist. Maksudnya kalau you have to put yourself how to be a good eco tourist. Okay, not just you as a tourist, but you have to put yourself as an operator as well, right? So the first one, you have to provide information prior to the trip on the culture and environment to be visited. Maksudnya kalau you become a good tour, you akan cari maklumat, you akan prepare all the information sebelum you travel. Okay, apa yang berkaitan dengan culture, for example, can do and what we can we can't do at that particular places. Yang kedua, you have to offer guideline on appropriate dress and behavior in writing before departure and verbally before the dia punya ni tak masuk penuh. Nanti saya adjust balik dia punya slide. Right, number 3, offer in-depth briefing upon tourist arrival on the destination's geographical, social and political characteristic. Okay, because when we talk about natural ataupun ecotourism, it must be involved with environmental, social and political challenge. Number 4, offer in-depth guiding throughout the trip with well-trained local guide. Sebab tu kalau if you remember when we discuss about the tour guide, okay, ada dua, city guide and nature guide, right? So nature guide tu adalah someone who are qualified ataupun someone who has been acknowledged as a well or established or trained tour guide, okay, local tour guide. Sebab when we talk about natural resources ni, tak semua orang tahu, okay, apa jenis-jenis tumbuhan, animals dan sebagainya apabila kita buat aktiviti ecotourism. Okay, you have to offer the opportunity to meet and interact with local community. Okay, bagaimana you nak buka peluang untuk kita jumpa and berkomunikasi dengan local community. Macam tadilah, if we involve with indigenous people, we have to make sure that they are comfortable, right, and they can accept the visitors to their places. Number 6, develop an understanding of both local people's daily life and tradition. Okay, pemahaman kepada kedua-duanya, bagaimana local community punya kehidupan, life dia dengan tradition dia, cara hidup dia. Okay, dan apa isu-isu yang berlaku untuk kita discuss, dan bagaimana kita nak make sure that the local community can accept our attitude, our behavior. We also provide opportunity to contribute to the local NGO. Okay, orang-orang yang menyumbang kepada pembangunan, the development of local community for ecotourism. Ensure that all park entry fees are paid in full. Maksudnya apabila kita nak jadi eco tour yang bagus, kita kena make sure that we pay for any entrance fees ataupun any fees in order to contribute for the local community punya economic, as well as for the preservation and conservation of natural resources. And the last one, we have to offer site sensitive accommodation. Okay, kita kena make sure that apabila we stay ataupun we involve with the accommodation punya activity, so we are not disturb the animal punya habitat ataupun the natural resources punya area. Okay, so this is all the characteristic of a good eco tour. Tapi kita juga discuss on the ecotourism punya karakteristik. Maksudnya ecotourism destination karakteristik ni dia adalah melibatkan kawasan tersebut. Kalau macam tadi involve with travelers ataupun people punya behavior ataupun attitude. Tapi now kita discuss tentang karakteristik of eco destination ni, apa dia tempat-tempat karakteristik untuk tempat tersebut. Which yang pertama, dia adalah features, natural features dia conserve within the protected landscape. Okay, kawasan-kawasan yang terpelihara. Low density development where natural areas are abundant and the built landscape does not dominated. Maksudnya tempat ataupun kawasan ecotourism tu mestilah kawasan yang kurang level of development dia. Sebab tu kalau you perasan dalam ROS punya framework tadi tu, dia ada 6 stage yang you have to make sure that each of the elements yang you nak develop dalam ecotourism ataupun adventure punya activity tu, you have to meet ataupun you have to follow the ROS punya spectrum tu tadi. Okay, number 3, evidence that tourism is not harming natural system. Okay, so a good eco destination karakteristik ni, kita kena make sure that aktiviti rekreasi ataupun aktiviti ecotourism yang kita buat tu dia tidak mengganggu ataupun tidak memusnahkan ataupun tidak menggugat kestabilan ataupun sistem kepada natural resources. Plenty of design outdoor recreation zone are designed. Okay, ini yang penting. So you have to put a zoning area, sama ada kawasan tu boleh dilalui how many tourists yang boleh datang. Sebab tu dia, the word carrying capacity is very important. Okay, to make sure that each of the elements ataupun each of the activities in ecotourism areas ni tidak memusnahkan, doesn't disturb the natural areas ataupun habitat and animal punya habitat, right? Thriving locally owned lounge, hotel, restaurant that provide genuine hospitality. Okay, maksudnya normally kalau ecotourism punya destination ni mesti melibatkan penggunaan ataupun the creation of accommodation tu adalah original daripada natural resources. variety of local festivals and events that demonstrate an ongoing sense of pride in the local communities, environment and culture heritage. So maksudnya, sebab tu kalau you perasan, when we talk about ecotourism launch ataupun ecotourism destination ni, dia mestilah promote ataupun contribute kepada culture and heritage local community tu. Dia meningkatkan ataupun memperkenalkan, at the same time orang daripada tak tahu akan tahu what is actually the culture ataupun the value of local community punya produk dan juga natural resources yang dia offer. Next is clean and basic public facilities for tourists and local to share, penggunaan eco-friendly punya produk dekat semua kawasan-kawasan ecotourism, eco-destination. Dia juga tidak menggunakan terlalu banyak bahan binaan yang boleh merosakkan alam sekitar dan sebagainya. Friendly interaction between local people and visitors in natural meeting places. Okay, so mesti ada interaction yang bagus di antara community dengan pengunjung yang datang, visitors yang datang tu. So ini untuk make sure that ecotourism destination ni, eco destination ni meet the expectation and the experience of the local community. At the same time, you have to preserve and conserve the natural area. Okay, kita tak nak bila you are doing any ecotourism activity, we are putting ourselves in profit oriented, but we are basically try to contribute both, not just for economic punya benefits but as well as for the social and environmental punya benefits. Okay, so ini antara profile ecotourist apa yang they are looking for. Basically, they are generally seek out the travel experience yang involve natural attraction of the natural beauty, and dia akan pergi in a small group and away from the crowds. Okay, sebab tu ecotourist, bila kita cakap pasal ecotourist ni, dia adalah someone yang memang dia tak suka tempat-tempat yang crowded dan they are looking for the natural punya resources. Okay, ada 3 segmen when we talk about eco-tours ni tadi ataupun eco-tourist ni. Yang pertama impulse, yang kedua aktif, yang ketiga personalized. Kalau kita tengok yang kriteria yang pertama ni, characteristic by nature based day trip away from the main tourist and mainly booked locally by domestic and international tourist. Maksudnya orang yang kategori yang pertama ataupun segmen yang pertama ni untuk eco-tourist ni adalah orang yang dia memang jiwa dia walau whatever it is, tempat yang dia akan pergi untuk travel adalah tempat-tempat yang nature based, tempat-tempat alam semula jadi. Segmen yang kedua adalah orang yang aktif. Orang yang aktif when we talk about younger and middle age professional. Memang orang-orang kategori ini adalah orang yang memang dia dia not just focus on the nature, tapi they are more interested for the nature based punya activity. Dan number 3, segmentation dia personalized, essentially all the professional ataupun retired. Ini adalah orang-orang yang ada duit, tak tahu nak ke mana, then they go for natural punya holiday. So ini adalah 3 segmentation of ecotourism punya to ecotourist. Okay. How do they choose their eco experience? Yang pertama, dia value personalized service coupled with high quality natural resources. Sebab tu lah kalau orang yang involved betul-betul in ecotourism punya activity, dia memang akan pergi ke kawasan ataupun tempat yang memang provide high level of intensity of the natural resources. Number 2, dia punya level of interpretation provided is one of the major consideration. Maksudnya bila dia pergi ke tempat tu, they expect that they will get something new, right? They can learn something about their culture, they can learn about the natural punya information and etc. Okay, so ini antara benda-benda yang dia cari when they go for ecotourism punya travelers. Okay, ini ecotourism planning guideline ni bila kita ataupun you as tourism operators ni yang you nak plan for eco destination. So dia mesti depends on the baseline of data of social and environmental factors, zoning strategy, regulation that prevent deliberate abuse of fragile ecosystem, local participation, the limit of acceptable change and long term monitoring. Sebab tu bila kita cakap pasal ecotourism di Kelantan, kita ada NEP, National Ecotourism Blueprint. Okay, yang di-create pada tahun 1996 dan sekarang ni ada yang terbaru 2010 hingga 2026. Jadi NEP ni adalah guideline for ecotourism punya blueprint. Jadi but ini adalah something that you have to know which elements ataupun which part of ecotourism punya activity that you can referring to. Okay, sebab tu dalam ecotourism planning guideline ni kita ada green zone, trail, walking path, public area and etc. Okay, sebab tu semua tourism operators ni you kena tahu the visitors management plan and procedure yang you boleh incorporate dalam public comment during design and implementation process. Yang kat sinilah yang framework yang kita belajar tu VIM, ROS, LAC. Okay, so semua framework ni adalah satu guideline yang boleh membantu you untuk plan you punya eco destination. Okay. So yang ni pun sama, it must stress that eco launch value is must in sitting as its structure. Okay, maksudnya dia tak boleh ada terlalu banyak development, over development or resources disruption issue. Sebab tu kalau kita try to build up ataupun we are planning in proposing a new ecotourism activity, we have to use all the natural resources elements to ensure that all the activities must be protected and must be conserved for the long term punya period of time. Eco launch can be extremely rustic or very luxurious. Accommodation in general for ecotourism are usually mid-range. Sebab tu kalau you tengok orang yang buat ecotourism punya accommodation ni, they are not provide the luxurious punya facilities. They only provide something that related to natural areas ataupun natural resources. Okay, penggunaan facilities, tate dan sebagainya is all related to natural resources. Okay, so ini antara guideline untuk you develop ataupun you nak manage you punya accommodation related to ecotourism punya produk ataupun ecotourism punya elements. Okay, so antara benda-benda yang penting yang dia cakap gini, tourism business should pay impact fees that fund to the infrastructure. Environmental impact assessment should be followed by impact monitoring program. Okay, manage trail and camping areas, public and recognized rules and regulation and etc. Jadi guideline, eco destination guideline ni akan bantu all the tourism operator untuk dia tengok and evaluate and put the analysis for each of the elements yang you nak provide to your customers. Right, so ini berkaitan dengan eco launch accommodation yang kita discuss tadi adalah ada orang gunakan perkataan eco launch which referring to any accommodation that relate with ecotourism activities. Okay, so but basically eco launch ni is one of the accommodation punya element saja which it involve ataupun relate with ecotourism punya activity. Okay, so ecotourism definition ni dia must meet the following criteria. Okay, baru kita consider dia sebagai eco launch definition. Okay, yang pertama is conserve the surrounding environment, both adalah natural and culture punya element. It has minimal impact on the natural surrounding during construction. Macam kita duduk ulang 2-3 kali, kalau boleh you buat penginapan tu atas pokok for example. you tak tebang pokok-pokok dan sebagainya. Jadi dia mengurangkan, minimize the impact of the natural surrounding. It fits into specific physical and culture context through careful attention, okay, landscaping as well as the localized architecture. Okay, you tak buat the high level of the development in ecotourism punya accommodation. It use alternative sustainable means of water executions and reduce water consumption. Okay, in fact, the way of the waste management also must be taken into consideration. It provides careful handling and dispose of solid waste and sewage, meets its energy through passive design and combine this with their modern counterpart for greater sustainability. Sebab tu the way that you design you punya bilik, launch dan sebagainya, mestilah you have to think on the sustainability. It endeavours to work together with the local community. Okay, mesti melibatkan dengan kerjasama daripada local community. Offer interpretative program to educate both employees and tourists about the surrounding nature and culture environment. And last, it must be contribute to sustainable local development through research program. Okay, so basically ini adalah antara definition yang disampaikan ataupun prepare by the International Eco Launch Guideline. Okay, so if you meet all these definitions of eco launch, then you can consider your business ataupun accommodation providers tu as an eco launch punya accommodation. Okay, when we talk about eco launch definition just now, you have to meet the characteristic of eco launch punya management before you offer to your customer. Okay, basically apa yang you have to take into consideration adalah you have to provide on the job training to community members and the local guide. Okay, use a majority of local staff people and avoid giving city trains or expatriate individual all of the key responsible. Okay, ada something that you have to understand when we talk about eco launch ataupun ecotourism punya elements ni adalah you have to put your mind ataupun you punya expectation ni different between the city punya expectation. Kalau orang kata if you want to be a luxurious punya tourist, then you have to go or to travel to the luxury ataupun the urban punya area. But however, if you are fall in love ataupun you are focusing on the eco punya ataupun natural punya areas, and you have to accept all the basic facilities provided to the local community. Okay, because the main idea of ecotourism is to educate people to conserve and preserve the natural resources. But dia kata some high-end launch are creating jungle canopy walkways on their own properties as another guest amenities. Okay, maksudnya dia cuba, ada local tourism operators ni cuba untuk create something new in order to give the experience kepada local community, kepada visitors. Okay, tapi they have to put the minimum impacts of that development tu kepada nature punya resources ataupun kepada animal punya habitat. Coordinations of a full-field ecotourism itinerary require an active working relationship with the local community and needs to work with local guide and interact with owners of the different tourism resources. Okay, sebab itulah you have to have a qualified ataupun a well-trained local guide in natural resources to make sure that you know what can be done ataupun what can give the benefits to the local community as well as to the visitors, right? So I think that's a simple topic for ecotourism punya topik, because macam saya cakap tadi, bila when we talk about natural punya areas ni ataupun the topic of ecotourism ni, they are not just focusing on the elements of natural resources, tapi it must be involved with the sustainability punya element, social, culture and social, economic and environmental, right? So for the ecotourism punya topik ni, basically dia for the whole courses, basically before this kita buat ecotourism ni sebagai satu khusus yang umum, khusus yang berfokus kepada ecotourism. But since this course has been merged dengan recreation punya topik, therefore I believe that there is something that you have to go further about. Kalau you are interested with ecotourism punya topik, I think there are a lot of website yang offer ataupun share experience dan juga information related to ecotourism, right? So basically this is I think that's all for the topic of ecotourism. If you have any questions ataupun, saya saja tak masukkan video dalam slide sebab saya tahu kalau saya masukkan pun mungkin you tak dapat nak dengar. So therefore saya harap you boleh watch the video in e-learning. Saya dah masukkan dalam e-learning to give you better understandings of the ecotourism punya topik. Okay, so before we end our session, do you have any questions or something that you would like to share? You are most welcome. Class A, okay. Tak ada soalan? Class B. Okay, so kalau tak ada apa-apa, sekejap lagi saya akan bagi link untuk Google Form. So last week pun ada yang tak isi Google Form punya attendance punya ni. So I consider that you just attend and scan QR code and then you left without notice, right? So saya kena check balik that attendance dengan Google Form yang saya provide tu. Jadi saya akan buka sekejap lagi, saya bagi link dan saya akan buka sehingga jam 10 malam untuk you isi Google Form, right? So kalau tak ada apa-apa, I think that's all for our class tonight. Thank you very much for giving your full attention for this class. I hope that I can give more information related to this topic through the website. Dan saya tengah cari something a new thing sebab ecotourism, tapi saya belum jumpa. Ada satu saya lost dia punya link tu. Kalau saya dapat that link tu nanti saya akan share lebih detail. Right, with that, thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Doctor.
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 Thank you, Doctor.